My husband beat the living crap out of his son for a horrible thing he committed. Hi, I really need some advice right now. I married my husband 40 years ago. He had twin boys from a previous relationship who are now almost 20. I love these boys so much. Although they are not my biological sons, they are mine, and no one can tell me otherwise. I legally adopted them a few years ago as well, so they are mine. I came home from a shopping spree and dropped off my older son at the airport. When I walked in, I heard my husband yelling and cursing. I got closer to where he was in his office, beating our younger son while he was on the ground. I begged him to stop, and eventually he did. I rushed to comfort our son, and he aggressively grabbed my arm and demanded I don't lay a hand on him. I stressed that he was hurt and that he was our son. My husband retaliated. He's not our son. He's a pathetic man that needs to get the H out of my house by the morning. Kicked him and walked away, dragging me with him and not minding my pity. We got to our room, and he locked the door and went to the bathroom to shower. I brought him new clothes and went back to sit on the bed. After some time, the water turned off, and then I went to see if he was calm. I found him sitting on the floor, crying. He cried all night while holding me and only just fell asleep less than an hour ago. My husband is the personification of a gentle giant. He's 7 feet 2, over 400 pounds, a buff, and used to box. But this man would never hurt anything. I mean, if I asked him to take care of a bug for me, he would slowly pick it up while talking to it and then take it outside. He has never had a loud voice or shown any aggression. I have never seen him that way before. I'm stuck here under him and don't know if our son is okay downstairs. I want to secretly undermine my husband and go check in on our son, but I can't move right now. I don't even know if our son is alive right now. I know he hasn't eaten since I brought groceries to make dinner, but didn't get to. And frankly, I'm a bit shaken up right now. I feel a bit intimidated by my husband. I have always had an irrational fear of domestic abuse from a man since my dad did it to my mom. One thing that drew me to him was how gentle he was. Our son is 6 feet 6 and almost 300 pounds, and does football himself, whereas I'm 58 and 127 pounds. After seeing the damage he did to our son, I'm very frightened to think of what he could do to me. I just need some new perspectives to maybe rationalize myself right now. Thank you. I know this was posted in another community, but I haven't gotten much help there, so I wanted to try somewhere else. Edit, a small disclaimer. When I wrote this, I was a bit hysterical, so I over-exaggerated on my son possibly being unalive. He was neither bleeding nor doing anything to look broken. I do know he was in a lot of pain. I don't condone my husband's behavior, but the reason I can't call the cops is because I think my son did something. And calling the cops could play out in a bad way. And it's hard to say who started it since my husband has some bruises showing up in his jaw and back. I can't involve the police until I know what happened. I saw my son leave the camera, and he was limping and had some bruises on his arms and face as well. The friend I saw picked him up. I texted him to take him somewhere to get looked at, and he said yes. Right now, they are stopped at their doctor's house, who has treated the boys before. I'm in contact with his friend. I tried contacting him, but he's not responding to me. Update. Hi guys, I appreciate all of the feedback I got and have implemented a lot of it. A lot of people suggested that I leave. I was able to get some details on the cause of the fight. Still not much, but it was a big eye-opening moment. I'm still in so much shock right now and am feeling so many emotions, and I feel so disgusted right now. My husband didn't sleep for long. After some hours, he woke up again, really upset, and wouldn't say anything to me. He went to the bathroom and cried for a few minutes. I texted my son, threatening him, and he finally called back. He wouldn't tell me what happened either. He just told me he was fine and kept apologizing to me. And I didn't know why. After my husband's shower, he got out and went outside. He didn't take his phone, wallet, keys, or even shoes. While he was gone, I went to go see my son, and he locked himself in the room and kept apologizing to me. I had picked up food on my way and forced him to open the door so I could feed him since I knew he hadn't eaten. He did open the door, and I got to feed and hold him. I know people said I should have left, but I just felt off, so I went home to bring my husband some food in the hopes he would be in a better state to tell me. I waited some hours until he finally came back. I stood my ground and demanded he tell me. I told him how I felt about the whole situation and how upset I was with him, and I threatened to call the cops and even divorce. He fell down and cried again. I comforted him for some time, and then he went upstairs and came back down with his suitcase packed. He didn't say anything to me, took my arm, and brought me to his office. He made me sit on his chair, readying me to look at something on the screen. He started crying and apologized profusely. On his desk, my son's iPad was there. He opened the computer, and there was a flood of pictures and videos of me in very inappropriate situations. And these were things from my son's tablet. Whenever I'm on my period and have bad cramps, I like to lay in the tub and let the hot shower run on me. And oftentimes I fall asleep. There were so many pictures of me in that position. There were pictures of me getting dressed, picking up things, and in intimate positions with my husband when we obviously thought they couldn't see, and even from our bedroom. There were pictures. There were even some where he touched me while I was sleeping. There was just so much. I'm a very curvy woman and get sexualized a lot outside, but I never expected it in my house from my son. Especially because at their schools, their classmates talk about my body, and he is always defensive and protective of me. I don't have a habit of dressing immodestly around the house when the kids are home, but there have been instances where I'll wear some leggings or a really fitted top or dress. My husband told me he'd be staying at his friend's house to give me space, and I couldn't bring myself to say anything asking him to stay because I didn't want to be alone at that moment. He left me sitting there, looking at myself in very vulnerable positions that my son captured. I don't know what he does with these photos. I feel so vulnerable and dirty right now. I don't know how to feel right now or even think. I hoped writing this would make sense, but reading it back, I'm so hurt right now. He's my stepson but is still my son since I adopted him, but he's not my biological son. I just wanted to clear that out. Final update. Hi guys, I talked to my husband over lunch, and he gave some more information. But first, I'm completely fine with people calling my story fake and not believing it. I'm glad because, you shouldn't believe everything on the internet, but saying things like, I want to sleep with my stepson, or I have an incest fetish is utterly disgusting. Aside from the fact that I have raised this boy, and that I would never be with someone so young, my husband keeps me well enough satisfied for me to even entertain the idea of seeking interest in a small child who still watches cartoons. I'm Bengali and my husband is Congolese, and we don't live in the US. I only have one close friend with whom I share private things. But this I couldn't share, hence why I even got on Reddit. We don't tell people about our business, so I chose here because no one knows who we are, so it's not really a problem. I just created Reddit yesterday, and so did I download it. I will try to find out how I can see when an app was downloaded and post that since some people are saying I made a separate post when I got it yesterday. I told my husband that I was here, and he corrected me on some things. He says he's 319 pounds, which I don't believe because he's way too heavy. He also explained what exactly happened. He walked in our son's bedroom, and the way his room is set up, if he's on a device lying on the bed, from the door you'll get a view of it. My husband saw what he thought looked like me and tried getting the tablet, but his son refused and threw some things at my husband. Which I believe is true because I went to my son's room and his desk was in the middle, his shoes were on the floor, his computer had fallen on the desk, and his keyboard was on the floor. Husband managed to get a tablet, but son refused to give a password. So my husband connected it to his computer and was able to get information out of it, including all of my pictures, hence how the fight started in his office. How I'm curvy, I do have a petite frame, but I have a small waist and my hips and thighs are bigger. I looked it up and I have a pear shape. I don't know where people came to the conclusion that I think I'm the hottest person alive, but I do get catcalls, and this is solely on my body. And my son's friends who have commented on my body, I don't think they want me, have made it a point to mention my shape a lot. Someone suggested a horrifying idea. What if our other son is the same? I refuse to think of that, and we have been trying to get in contact with him to see if he knows anything. But it's hard because he's on a different continent right now. My husband doesn't want me posting anything here anymore because of the comments and messages. I agree. I think some people have been really helpful and supportive, but a lot of people are saying mean things and accusing me of doing awful things to this child. So this is the final update before I delete the app. Thank you to some of you who have given really great advice and were really supportive. As of now, I don't want to see my son, as his face almost scares me. And my husband has made it a point to let me know how much he supports me and will support anything I decide to do. Both boys are in college but home a lot since school is only an hour away. So my husband has forbidden him from coming to the house. Everything else, we will deal with as well. In the videos, he never penetrated me in any way because I saw people saying he SE'd me. It was more like him putting his private parts on parts of my body while I napped, or him lifting things up. My husband is especially angry because the boys aren't allowed in our bedroom when he's not home. So amongst all of the things, he also broke several house rules. And there were no cameras placed anywhere. Everything was taken directly from him since everything happened while he was home. My birthday is in a week, but I have been canceling things just because I don't think I can be in public right now. I haven't even gotten out of bed since last night. And a lot of people talked about my writing. But give me a break, English isn't my first language, and I didn't study literature. Bye. Thank you for watching the video.